I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Keith, would you take roll, please?
Sure. Larry Fox,
Here.
Mike Mitchell,
Here.
Michelle LaRose,
Here.
Joe Kalani,
Here.
Sue Grissom,
Here.
Tom Murphy.
Here.
Roll call is complete.
All righty, thank you. Item 4, approval of our agenda.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion from Commissioner Grissom, second from Commissioner Kalani. Any changes? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Approval of meeting minutes, but I don't have meeting.
I don't have that.
So we're going to skip right over those and go to call to the public. I got a feeling we don't have any. But if you're here and would like to speak at this time, that's fine for anything other than item 7A. Seeing none, we're going to move to item 7A, which is a public hearing. The order of business this evening will be, I'll open the public hearing in a moment. We'll turn the floor over to our planning director, who will introduce the project. We'll then have the applicant come up and add any additional information he would like. We'll get some public comments if anybody does show, and then we'll close the public hearing. Then we'll go through the staff review letter that we have in regards to this application. So with all of that, we will open the public hearing at 7:02 p.m. for the applicant K2 Holding LLC. The property is located at 11325 Highland Road, parcel ID number 4708-22-300-048. Property is zoned GC General Commercial, and the applicant is requesting approval to establish a drive-through service for the existing Big B Coffee Shop. For the record, all public notice requirements for this public hearing have been met. With that, I think we'll turn the floor over to our planning director, Troy, if you'd like to introduce the project.
Yeah, thank you. Let me just start off by trying to explain where this property is located. I'll go to a zoning map. This is a zoning map of Heartland Township, and this would be US 23 going north and south here. This is M59 going east and west. So from that intersection going east on M59 into this general area here. Let me try to zoom in. So we're going to be in this general vicinity on the north side of M59. The red means it's general commercial. So I'm going to go to an aerial of the site here. So again, M59 towards the bottom. This is the building. It's a multi-tenant building, so there's several other tenants in this building, and then Big B Coffee is kind of at the end of this tenant. They've approached the township and would like to add a drive-through window for their coffee business in this existing building. So the special use permit is not to construct a brand-new building or anything like that. The building's already there, the parking lot's already there. You can see the layout, and the drive-through is going to be in this general location on the west side of the building. And so there's some reconfiguring of the parking lot that is done for this. And this is the site plan. So you can see the building here. And I'll try to just zoom in on just that portion of it. And you can see they have the drive-through with the stacking lanes on the north side of the building, and then it comes around. And then all of these parking spaces that were here are now relocated. And then you come through the drive-through, and then you exit on out. Drive-through window is allowed in the general commercial district, but it's only allowed by special use permit. So they're required to go before the Planning Commission and the Township Board for approval of the drive-through window. The site is already fairly well laid out. We're not talking about, they're not adding any exterior lighting. So we don't have a lighting photometric plan. There's really no landscaping other than a couple of trees that we've included. And so we don't have much detail on a site plan analysis for this type of a project, but that's essentially the project, and that's essentially the process that they're going through. So I'll be available for any questions or comments you might have.
Great, thanks, Troy. Anybody representing the applicant want to add anything to that? Maybe come forward, we might have some questions as we go through. Go ahead and introduce yourself and anything you'd like to add.
I'm Charlie Lawrencell Properties, landlords, the owners of the property.
Okay,
This is my tenant, Ken Caldea, he's the owner of the Big B Coffee.
I can.
And welcome. Troy pretty much laid out kind of what we're looking for is
Okay.
drive-through for Ken's location, is coffee shop.
Okay, that sounds good. We have no one from the public, so what we're going to do is go ahead and close our public hearing at 7:07 now. And we're just going to run through the staff review letter. If you received a copy of it? I do. Perfect. So I'm just going to follow through. We're just going to go through, and I'm going to start on page 4, because everything up to page 4 for the planning commissioners, that's your packet, page 5. Page 4 of the staff review letter under the special land use review, about 2/3 of the way down. There are a couple sections within the ordinance we deal with when we do special use. The first one being just the general criteria for a special land use review. Those are items A through F. If the planning commission is aware, on page 8, the applicants have responded to those A through F statements, and I'm just wondering if there are any questions or comments on any of those.
No. No.
Everybody pretty much good with that? Yep. All righty, and let's move on over then to page 5 of the review letter, packet page 6. And up here, we got special land use review criteria that are specific for fast food and drive-through restaurants. This is section 4.8. There are just a couple points here to touch on. So we've got 4 areas of questions that we ask or we look to see if you can comply or work within what the requirements are. Item 1 is a minimum frontage of 200 feet. As everybody can see, they've got 332, so no questions there. The locations of the driveways probably are that way because this is an existing facility that already went through an MDOT review, and we can see that there are no issues there. Control of sound level, they're 170 feet from the north property line. Any questions or comments on that?
No.
No? All right. And item 4, 10 stacking spaces. Looks like they've got the 10. We got 5 pre-order. Is that what you're calling it, Troy? Mm-hmm. So traffic pattern look fine to everybody? Yeah. Everything look good? We've seen several places that have installed these in this kind of configuration before. Any questions or comments for him at all?
I have just a couple questions.
Sure.
Just about, I understand you're moving the one tree that's there, over to the west side. Around the transformer, currently, there's a little bit of stone and the rest is lawn. Are you just expanding that area to be all lawn then? So if you, right in the back, it would be the northwest corner, that area that's around the transformer? Is it just going to be lawn?
Yes.
And then my last question is, right there where you're putting that sign,
Yeah.
there's a narrow ginkgo tree there. Are you keeping that tree there? Because you're putting a sign pretty much where the existing tree is. I just didn't know if there would be a conflict or what. We're trying to get a few trees around all the pavement, so I just am asking, because there was no note about that.
I think we're going to leave keeping that tree.
Think you can? I mean, it's really
We'll try.
narrow.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's not a problem.
okay.
If we can maybe set the sign back a little bit.
Yeah, see, if not, I'm sure we'll work with you. I was just curious. Those are my only 2 questions.
I have a question for you, Sue, on the
Yeah.
transplanting of that tree, since
Sure.
this happens to be your arena, is, and maybe it goes to,
Yeah.
I don't know if there is a attempt to save a tree that's been planted there, I'm guessing for 14 years when this
Sure.
site was approved, and is the chance of survival that great? And Or are you better off just buying a new tree?
You know, it's your call how you want to do it. It's going to be a little bit tight, they might have to hand dig it because it's a tight area, but the tree is very small.
Is it? Okay.
Is, so, you know,
Well, and I also know that there's an area like behind that's pretty open, grass there.
Yep.
So maybe we put the menu board a couple of feet
Sure.
in front of the tree and then transplant the tree just behind.
just wanted,
So we can keep the tree.
right. Yeah, and it's just, again, we try to get as much as we can around all the pavement, so it's just a question.
Okay,
We'll try to keep the tree in, because it's a small tree that's
It shouldn't be.
okay, all right. So any other questions on that? If not, I'm going to move to the actual site plan review, which again, in this case, is very minimal because we're talking about an existing site. We're only modifying for a drive-through, and it looks like the biggest topic we get to talk about is parking. And it would appear as though there's adequate parking at the facility now. Staff only bringing up in the barrier-free. Troy, can you highlight that just a little bit as,
So they have some handicap parking in this location as well as over here. Generally, you don't have the barrier-free across, where they have to cross a
Right.
lane so that they can have the most direct access into the building. So what we've just pointed out is maybe that could be changed or modified in the construction plans down the road. So,
okay, general question, in front of the handicap parking space, is that showing a different curb? Is that removed?
are you talking right here?
Uh-huh.
There might be a ramp there. I can't recall why this is,
Do you recall by chance?
Yeah, I think there is a ramp there, so it's
Is it a requirement that the parking be that close? The reason I ask is there are only, 16 spaces, whatever it is, front across of that whole building. In all likelihood, two handicap is probably more than adequate. Is that a,
it's not a requirement of our requirements, it's more a requirement of the state barrier-free.
that the state barrier-free requirement is that the 4 parking spots be at the curb in front of the building?
Well, it doesn't say at the curb in front of the
Closest
building,
to
it
the
says
door.
closest to the, yeah.
Okay.
I think where they're located currently, given that size, I've been in that parking lot many a times, I don't think it's a major issue to have those across the way.
Well, and that's kind of where I was going, because I look at what some of the tenants are right now. You got Little Caesars there, and you got Big B Coffee. Those 2 places alone have people running in and out of there in a matter of 5 minutes. And you're going to have more people running across the parking lot traffic than you will ever see use those 2 handicap spots.
And you're going to have less traffic going in Bigby now with a drive-through. So
Well, you'll have, I
you won't
think
have traffic in the store, like, so they don't have to park.
Well-
That's what I was thinking.
philosophically, I
We
think
hope
they
so,
just
or-
grew their business. Who gets out of their car to get a cup of coffee? We all drive up to the window.
Right.
Okay?
That's what I'm
So I think
saying.
they have more customers now,
Yeah, I do.
personal bet.
I meant that would go inside, that would use the
Yeah.
parking spot.
Yeah, I think if you're an inside person, you are. Otherwise, I think we all like to just drive up and have it handed to us. It's personal opinion.
The
It's
only
the
other-
American way.
I
Go
just
ahead.
wanted to add that originally that building was approved with non-compliant handicap anyway.
Was it? I don't remember
You
that.
have the previous picture of
So
the,
this is the,
Well, they've taken the 2 off the side.
yeah, but that's not close to the door either.
Well, it's part of the reason I asked the question in regards to, and please, this isn't a fall on the sword topic for me. I just question when you only have so limited park, you've removed all the side parking, so now the quick access, pull up, grab your pizza, grab your cup of coffee is very limited in number of spaces. You're going to have more people running across the traffic aisle than you'll ever see use the handicap spot. Personal opinion.
And I don't know, I think like you said, Troy, it's more of a state mandate. It's kind of out of our hands. It's kind of like there are these quote ADA police, and they do come by and look to make sure the ramps comply, the parking complies. So it might be one of those things that, it's their decision if they want to kind of do this or take the risk if the state comes and just says you're going to need to move it later.
If the state comes or if it's prompted by a complaint,
Yeah.
there is
That's that,
another handicap.
Yeah, I think
person.
that's the way to handle it.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying, but
right.
maybe it is their choice then.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm in the middle. I'm just bringing it up for the reasons I gave. And if they move 2 more spots up to the curb, do they have to go in and cut that curb out and add a ramp for it then? So,
Yeah.
and no one's going to use them.
Right.
You're
I
not
know.
going to get 4 handicap spots utilized in a facility of that size, in my opinion. So, there's 6 of you.
I think it's fine the way it is.
Okay.
I'm okay with it.
You're okay with it? Or change it?
No, I'm just offering that we can't really make that decision. I mean, it's up to them. We can make a recommendation, but I think it's just kind of your call how you want to play it. Because I think it's going to be, if a state or a complaint happens, then they'll be approached by a different group.
Okay. So if you'd like to leave it, leave it.
Yeah. We've noted it, and you
Yep.
guys make the call
Okay.
how you want to do it.
So it looks like you need 50 parking spaces in total, and you have 53, so they're adequately parked. There really are no other specific comments or concerns from any of the other reviewing agencies on this. Are there any questions, comments from anybody on the commission?
I'm just surprised how long I would have put it in originally.
Well, originally,
It was a
Has it
different
always been?
operator.
Huh? It's a
It was
different
a different
operator?
operator.
We bought it, it'll be almost 2 years in December.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And we
okay.
wanted to be here before the pandemic started, but
Which caused a delay for everything. So if there is no further discussion, you have no questions, comments? All right. There is a motion to be found on page 1 of the staff review letter dated the 17th. Again, this is a recommendation because it's special use. Our recommendation then goes to the board for approval, or their consideration for approval.
So I seem to recall that if I vote on this, I can't vote on it. Or is that only the zone?
I don't think so. I think you
you're
can
right.
do
Okay.
this. You're good.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
No,
No, you go.
I read the last book. Maybe else should read this one.
Motion as stated on page 1.
Yeah. I'll move to recommend approval of site plan with special land use application number 20-010, a request to establish a drive-through service for Bigby Coffee as a special land use located at 11325 Highland Road in Heartland Point Plaza. The recommendation for approval is based on the following findings. The proposed special land use restaurant with drive-through service meets the intent and purposes of the ordinance as well as the specific land use standards outlined in Section 6.6, Special Uses, and Section 4.28, Fast Food and Drive-Through Restaurants. As a restaurant with drive-in or drive-through service is permitted as a special land use in the GC General Commercial Zoning District. The proposed use is compatible with the existing and future land uses in the vicinity and is consistent with the plans previously approved by the township for Heartland Point Plaza. The proposed use is compatible with the Heartland Township Comprehensive Plan, which designates this area as commercial. The intent of the designation is to allow for both the sale of convenience goods and personal business services for day-to-day needs of the immediate neighborhood and provide for auto-oriented services. The restaurant is located in an established development, the Heartland Point Plaza, which is currently served by public sanitary sewer and municipal water. The proposed use will be adequately served by existing essential facilities and public services, and the fire department has no objection. Proposed use will not be detrimental, hazardous, or disturbing to the existing or future neighboring uses, persons, or public welfare. The proposed use will not create additional requirements at public cost for public facilities, as the commercial building where the proposed business is located is currently served by public sanitary sewer and municipal water. The approval is subject to the following conditions. 1, the proposed special land use restaurant with drive-through service is subject to approval by the Township Board. The applicant shall adequately address the outstanding items noted in the Planning Department's memorandum dated September 17, 2020. Revised plans, if necessary, shall be subject to an administrative review by the planning staff prior to the issuance of a land use permit. A land use permit is required for a land use permit is required for the proposed special land use. 4, applicant complies with any requirements of the Department of Public Works Director, Township Engineering Consultant, Heartland Deerfield Fire Authority, and all other government agencies as applicable.
Support?
We have a motion to recommend approval of site plan with special land use application number 20-010 from Commissioner Kalani, second from Commissioner Voigt. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
You going to do this soon? Got a timetable?
Hopefully very soon.
All right.
I'd like to be in before.
Good deal. All righty. Good deal. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for giving me the afternoon to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
All righty. Item 8, old and new business. None. Call to the public. None. We will take a brief recess, and then we'll move to a work session here in a second.
Maybe they should have stayed for the digital messaging by Newport's.
You might have to put coffee on.
As you know, this will be, I'm coming up on probably my last planning commission meeting.
Today?
No, not today, next month.
I had the question, when is it officially?
It's like November